The next day, my father stayed behind, leaving me to head to the farm alone. During my lunch break, I ventured into the forest where KillJooi had vanished the day before. After a 30-minute trek, I found him perched outside a cave near a stream, tucked away on a small hillock deep within the jungle. With not another soul within 10 kilometers, the sheer isolation of his existence baffled me. He sat in stony silence on a boulder. I took a seat nearby, waiting for a greeting that never came. He merely glanced my way and offered a curt nod. I searched for a conversational opening, expecting at least a courtesy, but the minutes stretched into a half hour of total silence. Around us, the trees teemed with chirping birds, and the only other sound was the steady gurgle of the nearby stream. "Sir, you live in beautiful surroundings." "What do you mean by that?" "I mean, it is so green, with birds chirping and vines climbing the trees. It is wonderful." "No, you did not get it. The question was, what do you mean by the word beautiful?" "I just described it, sir." "Do you mean the meaning of the word beautiful is the presence of green trees and chirping birds?" I couldn't grasp what he was aiming at. He remained silent, his gaze fixed not on me, but on a worm churning through the dirt. When he abruptly stood and headed toward his cave, I felt a surge of frustration. Was he really just walking away without a word? My father's warning that he was a bit odd felt like a massive understatement. Just as I reached my breaking point, he stopped, turned back, and locked eyes with me. "I will tell you a story." I nodded. Once, there was a little girl growing up on a farm with her parents. When she was around 3 years old, one fine day, her father brought a rose for her mother. The moment her mother saw that rose, she exclaimed, "Oh, it is beautiful." "Mother, what is beautiful?" "It is the rose, baby." "Mother, why is it beautiful? What do you mean by the word beautiful?" "Baby, look at the rose, it is deep red. Look at its petals. Look how perfectly they are curled. This is beautiful." The next day, the little kid went to the market with her mother. On the way, they saw the sunset. Mother said, "Oh, my child, look at the sky. It is so beautiful." The child asked, "Mother, what is beautiful?" "Baby, this sunset is so beautiful. Look at the color of the sky, the redness of the dying sun mixing with the darkness of the falling night. It creates a great effect. This is beautiful." A few days later, they went to a lake. When they reached the lake, her mother shrieked with joy. "My God! This scene is so beautiful." The kid could not stop asking, "Mother, what is beautiful?" "My dear baby, look at the blue waters of the lake, with swans swimming in a circular motion. Look at the clouds that are reflected in the lake. This scene is breathtaking. It is so beautiful." So, the child grew up, and after a few years, her parents had one more child. This boy was doted upon by his elder sister. Soon, he was 3 years old. One day, the brother and sister were walking in the garden. The sister unexpectedly stopped and said, "My dear baby brother, look at that rose. It is so beautiful." "What do you mean, sister, when you say it is beautiful?" "Little brother, look at the rose. It is deep red. Look at its petals. Look how perfectly they are curled. This is beautiful." When KillJooi stopped talking, I took his silence as the end of the tale. Without another word, he turned and vanished into the shadows of his cave, leaving me to sit in the gathering gloom. I lingered for a moment, puzzling over his words, but as dusk settled in, I realized I had an hour's trek ahead of me to reach the village. The walk back was a blur of questions. What was he actually trying to say? The girl in his story had learned the concept of beauty from her mother, hardly a revelation. We all learn from our parents and the world around us. We are taught the nuances of language, the weight of words, and the rules of society. Why point out something so fundamentally obvious? The next day, I found myself back at his cave. He was outside, preoccupied with polishing a rough wooden stick. Using a stone, He meticulously ground down the sharp splinters, smoothing the grain until the jagged edges were dulled. He spared me a brief glance before returning to his task, offering no words of welcome. I waited for over an hour, watching him work in total silence. I began to consider turning back. Clearly, this was a man who had no interest in friendship. As I retraced my steps homeward, a thought occurred to me. Why not inquire about the meaning behind the tale he shared yesterday? Sir, what did you mean by the little girl's story yesterday? I understood that she learned the usage of the word beautiful from her mother. What is wrong with that? He spoke without any hesitation. Was he waiting for me to ask the question? Like an automaton, you repeat words. Empty words. More words are used to explain the meaning of the words you used earlier. Then more words are used to explain the meaning of those again. Do you understand what I am saying? I took a few minutes and collected my thoughts. Are you suggesting that beautiful is nothing more than a hollow reflex for me? That my words carry no real weight? I've simply absorbed these terms since childhood, repeating them like an automaton without a second thought. He replied quickly. What did you mean when you say this is beautiful? What was behind that word? I might have said it just to start a conversation. But a lot of the time when we say something is beautiful, I think there is something behind that, a feeling. We try to capture that feeling with words. Our elders teach us the words to use in a certain situation, but we realize later that we must relate it to a particular feeling. I looked questioningly at him. Try to remember an occasion when you had that feeling. What was it like? He asked. I tried to remember for a while, but I could not recall what I felt when I used the word beautiful. He spoke after giving me 10 minutes of solitude. Go to your home and do your normal daily work, but be watchful of your mind. Be aware of what is going on in your mind, and the moment you utter the word beautiful, catch that feeling and look at it, what is behind it. Do not come back here until you are ready to answer. Take this stick, you can use it on your walks. He handed over the finished, polished stick to me. Then he got up and went into the forest towards the big lake deep in the woods. As the dust settled, I remained seated, my mind a whirlwind of thoughts. I attempted to recollect the sensation preceding my use of the word beautiful. After a couple of hours, I headed home. He did not come back for those 2 hours. His counsel lingered in my mind. What did he truly mean by urging me to be aware of my thoughts? His counsel lingered in my mind. What did he truly mean by urging me to be aware of my thoughts?